Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the universally, ladies and gentlemen. We are gonna get through this together, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the world famous, the universally loved, the best podcast in one, two, three galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. You see, people, that's professional broadcasting right there. And we are coming to you live today. Today is Thursday, March the 7th, 2024. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great episode for you. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I use the word ladies and gentlemen only on the podcast. The rest of the day, I never say ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing. It's amazing how that works. But today we are going to talk about something very important. We are going to talk about something that I've been doing the last month and a half, and that is writing. I've been writing a lot. I've been writing a lot of outlines, writing a lot of what I want to do, writing writing different blog posts, writing different articles, um, and I'm gonna share with you a couple of tips, okay? A couple of tips that I've, cause me personally, I'm a little stubborn. You know, they say when I was a kid, long time ago, when I when I was a kid, somebody would say, "Man, you can't climb up that hill," And I was always like, I'm gonna climb up that hill. I'm gonna keep going until I climb the hill. And you know, it's when I was young, I used to think, man, is this am I just is this stupidity, or is this just just being stubborn? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it ain't so good, but it is what it is. And a lot of times, you do stuff, I do stuff over and over and over. And then finally one day I'm like, you know what? Let's try this. And this works better. Doop, 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 doop. But that is the world I live in. And I've been writing, and before I will give you a story. A long time ago, you know, I went to college for one semester. I went to college for a semester. It was cool. I didn't have any money. My parents didn't have any money to pay for school. So I said, you know what? At that time, I was like, I'm not paying thousands of dollars to go to college. So, I gave that up and I went to the Navy, of course. But I remember I took an English class. They got to take it like I don't know if it was English 101 or was it kind of like pre English 101. I can't remember. But the lady, the professor, in the class, she was like, I want y'all to write a story every day about your day. Write a story every day about what's going on. Basically like a journal. But she's like, I want you to be, you know, not just write, old Tom went to the store today and I got a cup of water and I drank it. And then I was down in Cheney Hall, and shout out to everybody in Cheney Hall. That's the college I went to. But they like, she wanted you to be a little excited. And I remember, of course, I waited until like a couple weeks before we had to turn it in to start writing, to write down my daily occurrences for that semester. And by then I had already told myself that I was going to join the military. So I was sort of winging it. I would go to class sometimes I wouldn't go. It was just like I'm joining the Navy, so it's not like I'm gonna be back, you know. But this is a class that, you know, I was like, I wanna write these stories. So I wrote them stories, and I remember teacher, she pulled me to the side, the professor, whatever. She pulled me to the side after I got done. After the semester was coming to an end, and she pulled me to the side and she said, "You know, you," she said, "I know it's in the beginning, but you have the potential to be an excellent writer." And I thought to myself, "Shit, me?" And she said, "Yeah, I enjoyed your stories." And she said, Do you mind if I keep your notebook?" And I said, "Sure. Why not?" I wish I had that notebook now because I don't remember anything I wrote. I think I remember one story, but you know, but the point is, you know, I told myself, I got to think about writing, and of course, um, I went a long I went a long time without writing. I remember when I was in the Navy, I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books in the Navy. A lot of I'll be honest with you. Don't tell nobody else, but when I was in the Navy, I read a lot of those kind of like romance books. Listen, if you tell anybody, I'm a Saki, okay? But I read a lot of like African American authors, and it was a lot of romance. I remember I read a lot of Eric Jerome Dickey. Read a book called The Fly. Was it Fly in St. Louis, something like that, by Omar Tyree. It was a lot of books like that. You know, Sister Soldier. You know, Coldest Winter Ever. I read that. But I read a lot more books, but I just remember those books because I used to read those books in like one night. I would be up half the night just reading the book, reading the book, reading the book. It was always good, you know. I remember one book by Eric Jerome Dickey. It was called Milk in My Coffee. That book made me think about my brother. But anyway, if you read the book, then you know. If you haven't read the book, then I don't know what to tell you. But the point of all this is not to tell you that I am, you know, the Stephen King of writing around here. But the point is, you know, I used to when I used to write, I used to think that you had to write it perfect. You know, in the first, you know, I would do like one draft maybe, but I have come to the real. Listen, I have learned. How about that? There you go. I have learned that you can write a story and you can do a redraft over and over two, three, four, five, six times. Does not matter how many times you need to do it. You can rework it, rewrite it. You know, writing is like building a house. You know, you don't have you want to you start off, you like, all right, let me do a little outline, and I'm gonna tell you something. The better your outline, the easier it is for you to write. Whenever I try to wing it, it takes longer because I'm sitting there thinking, you know, what should I say? What should I do? But if I create an outline and I put, you know, this is what I want to talk about here, this is what I want to talk about there, you know, I will give you an example. I have a little PDF that I'm going to be selling, and I've started writing, and I'm about 1,200 words, 1,500 words in, and I wrote the outline. I wrote, why do I want to talk about, you know, like the beginning, then I talk about subjects that we want to talk about, and then the conclusion. You know, I have that down pat, and I've done a little research. I got some little facts, and I'm gonna sprinkle them into the article, do some storytelling. You know, talk about. I'll give you an example. I talked about this. I talked about website and the street light coming on. You know, I said, you know, like back in the day when I was a kid, your mom would always tell you, especially when I was growing up, everybody's mom would say, you know, you need to be home when the street light come on. I need your behind at home, you know? And so that was always the thing you heard in the neighborhood all the time. And I think about a website, and I think about websites like a street light. Like, this is where people can find you. This is where people can come see you, you know? And And so I talk about that in the book, but I put that in the outline, and it makes it a lot easier. And so what I'm telling you is, no matter what you do, you know, no matter what the content that you create, you are constructing. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to wing it. Listen, trust me. I've tried the winging thing. Winging it is cool. It sounds cool. It looks cool, but a lot better than winging it is when you have an outline, you construct, you write, you map out, you schedule what you want to talk about, how you want to talk about it, and take it from there. Do not. It's cool every now and then to be like, "Hey, I'm off the cuff. Hey, 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 hey," but you don't want to do that all the time. I will give you an example. You know, if you want one of the worst one of the worst times in my life, me and my homeboy, and we went with another guy. We went with the guy we used to call White Mike. He was a great guy. He was a great guy. And I remember he was like, "Hey, I'm going to see my girlfriend in I'm going to see my girlfriend in LA." And he's like, "I want y'all to come with me." And she got two friends, and and it was like, "All right, cool." And I remember we drove. It was like an hour and a half from San Diego. And I remember this is long before I met my beautiful wife. I always had to put that out there, just in case. But I remember we went up there. We went to the mall, and this is why I'm about to correlate to you. We went to the mall, and he met his girlfriend, and my homeboy said, "Hey, so what we about to do?" And the guy said, he turned around, he looked at both of us, dead in the face, serious as a heart attack. He looked at us and said, "I don't know. I thought we just walk around the mall and talk about people." And I thought to myself, huh? We drove an hour and a half so you can meet your girlfriend, and then we can walk around like I'm Jack Benny, like I'm Don Rickles, like I'm some type of insult comic. Walk around. Hey, look at this guy's pants. Bada bing, bada boom. Like what are you talking about? And he walked around with his girlfriend, and me and my homeboy, we sat there we walked around. Those two girls, they was walking in front of. They had no interest in being there. I felt like their friend was like, "Y'all come with me. Y'all ain't got no choice." And so it was. I just talked to my homeboy, and I was like, "Man, I can't believe we got suckered into this nonsense." And he had no plan, and that's like trying to write with no. That's like trying to write and not having an outline. And you just like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna write and write and write, and then you're gonna sit there and I'm tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna write, or even if you do a podcast, or if you do a YouTube video, if you don't know what you want to talk about, if you don't have some notes written down, you're just gonna sit there and you're gonna go humana 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 humana, and then you're gonna be like the great Steve, okay? And you're gonna be like, I don't know. I thought we would just come on, man. What are we doing? What's the plan? Where are we going? And so writing is just like you are constructing a house, you are, constructing an outfit. Have you ever wanted to go out, you know, and you're like, I want a piece. Now listen, and don't be a snitch, and don't tell my wife this, okay? But a long time ago, I used to care about what I wanted to wear, in public. And so I would have different shirts and different pants, and I would have shoes. And even way back, way back when, I had different hats, to wear. Like this hat goes with this shirt, and this hat goes with these shoes. Blah 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 blah. Listen, really, do not tell my wife, okay? Don't be a snitch. But it was planning. It was planning. It was map it out. What are we wearing? What are we doing? And so you want to get into the habit of you want to give up winging it. You want to give up. I'm not telling you all the time you can't wing it, but a lot of times if you think about, all right, what do you want to do in the morning? What do you want to do in the afternoon? What do you want to do in the evening? If you start just mapping out things, your life will get a lot easier. And that is what I want to. That is what I'm discussing with you when it comes to writing. You want to really get in there and you know say, hey, this is what I want to talk about. This is why I want to talk about it. What's my view? What's my angle? What's my intention? No matter what it is, if you have a point of view, if it's an opinion piece, now we're about to get into political season, and here in America, I don't know about where you live, but here in America, we it's gonna be non-stop, and so you you could easily write about politics, and one day if you want to talk about Trump and why you don't think Trump is a good candidate, and then if the next day if you want to write why Joe Biden is the greatest president you ever seen, you could do that. But think about why do you want to write it, how are you going to write it, how are you going to construct it, and you can always go back and you can always rewrite, you can always go back and you can always edit. And that's what I do. I used to have to wait. I used to just be like, all right, I'm gonna sit here, and then it would take me hours upon hours upon hours to write anything. Now I'm already at, I was probably spent an hour and a half at most writing this paper, this little PDF I'm gonna create, and I already have it mapped out. What I'm gonna write. What I'm writing it, and then I'm gonna write a little sales page, you know, and it and it's and I already have in my mind what I'm gonna talk about and why you should buy it and why you should buy it from me, and I have mapped out. And I just told you this week working on a website. I have my about page written down. Why you should listen to me. Why should you sign up for emails, this, that, and the other. I have things mapped out, and I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna get better at mapping things out. You know, I remember I used to have a routine on Sundays, and my wife used to get annoyed, especially before the baby. I used to, like, 5 years ago, 10, even more so 10 years ago. On Sundays, I would get the paper delivered. Yes, the Atlanta Journal Constitution. I would get it delivered to my apartment. I would I would get the newspaper. I would read it. I would create a little. My wife called it an island, and you would see like little papers and stuff like that just around. That was part of the routine. And she got annoyed, and she used to tell me, I used to try to do my routine, and she would say, sometimes you can't go by a routine all the time. And in my mind, I was just nodding my head, but in my mind, I'm thinking, yes, you can. And now, once again, don't do not tell her I'm telling you this. I enjoy a routine. Okay, I like a routine. I like I like. It's just like, I'll tell you. The other day, I was looking up I was looking up flying flights, and I thought, uh, I got I bought my wife a plane ticket. She wanted to go to New Orleans, and I got her a plane ticket, and she went to New Orleans. But I remember, I think I bought one ticket for like one airline and another ticket for another airline, And I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do my baby like that no more. From now on, I'm gonna put her on the same, whatever plane she flew in, she flew from, she's gonna fly back from. I just like continuity. I like a nice routine. And when you start creating outlines, I will tell you the reason, another reason why you want to create outlines before you start writing. You create outlines, you think you know what you want to talk about, you know where you want to go. And once you sit down, you don't have to do a lot of thinking. You already know the subject, you already know where you want to go, and then you just start writing. And you don't stop, you just let it flow out. You don't have to stop, think. Once you get done, you can grab up the source, you can grab a dictionary, you can look up different words. If you have Grammarly, you can always go to Grammarly, and there's, you know, that's now I wouldn't with Grammarly, they try to correct everything. But, sometimes if you're writing a friendly, you know, couple page, 1,000 word thing, you don't have to edit it that you don't have to edit it so much. Now if you're trying to sell something to somebody and you're writing, it depends. If it's something health related, I wouldn't try to get too cutesy. I would do my storytelling, write some facts, but I wouldn't get too loose with the mispronunciation of terms when it comes to creating like a medical post or something like that. But a lot of times, you know, Grammarly does help. You can always get the thesaurus. You can always have a dictionary ready and available, because I know sometimes when I'm writing, when I get done, I look and I've used the same word like 4 or 5 times, and you don't always want to use the same word over and over and over and over again. Okay, um, that's just how it is. You want to you want to be on top of it, and when you get done, you can always, if you have time, you can always go back, look through it, read through it, or you can always, if you write and you get done, you can always, if it's like in multi pages, you can always send it to somebody. They can edit it for you. They can proofread it for you. They can tell you, they can do the little red ink and send it back to you, or they'll, sometimes if it's like an editor, they'll do it for you, and then they send it back to you. And if you think it looks good, you're like, all right, well, we go with that. And so there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but my suggestion to you when it comes to writing is construct the house. Do the outline, do the outline, start writing, just let it flow. Do not stop, do not look, do not say, oh man, this is misspelled, that's misspelled. Just let it go. It's sort of like, um, it's like every now and then, every now and then, I'll be talking to my wife, and every now and then, I know in my mind I'm just going, and it's just flowing, and I'm just like, man, I ain't stopping until I get done. And sometimes she nodding her head. I'm like, is she paying attention? I don't know. I don't even care. I got a point. I'm trying to make it. And it happens. It happens to all of us. So you have to treat your writing like that. You get on the road, don't stop. Just let it flow. Let it keep going. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about the preposition. Don't worry about the adverbs and the adjectives and all that. Just cut loose. And I suggest that no matter what you do, no matter if it's written, if it's YouTube, if it's even TikTok or whatever, uh, let let it flow. Have a map. Map it out. You know what you want to talk about, and then take it from there. Off the cuff is cool, but after a while, it's like, did I say this the last time? What did I say? Because I have to start. I have to get better at you know saying, okay, I talked about this on that day. I talked about this on that day, and really making a list of episodes and what we talked about, why we talked about it, and take it from there. So you want to be a little more, and there's nothing wrong with this, but you want to be a little more scripted. It makes you a little more polished, and it makes you look a little more professional. It's cool and everything to talk, like you're talking from the hip, but you know, it's a lot better if you already know which road you want to go down, and you also will sound much better when you do it that way instead of going, man, let me think about what I was going to say, and all that kind of stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I think it's been like 20 minutes. We talked for a while today. We gave you some good stuff. We will be back tomorrow with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't told anybody about the podcast, what are you waiting on? Listen, don't be one of those people. When we start doing a million downloads a month, don't be one of those people who turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I listened to that first." How are they gonna know? You ain't brought it up yet. So go out there, spread the word. You know, uh, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And listen, we just don't say this is the best marketing podcast. This is the best podcast, point blank, period. Okay, move over. Whatever popular podcast, man, whatever popular podcast that you over here listening to and beating the drum for, tell them to get out of the way. Okay, it's a train coming through, and it's called Online Marketing Moves. But ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow, my name is Tony Rosano. Thank you for listening. God bless, and as always, everybody, peace.